Okay, so get this. U.S. adult obesity rates dropped 2%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal, right? Because this is like, that's the first time ever that we've seen those numbers go down, not up.
Right.
And everyone's just like freaking out, trying to figure out why. And guess what's getting all the attention?
Let me guess. Ozempic.
Ding, ding, ding. We are diving deep into Reddit today, specifically the Futurology forum. And they are all over this. Apparently there was some article, which we haven't actually seen, but the comments are going wild, connecting this obesity drop to Ozempic.
Interesting. So we're diving into the deep end without even knowing what the original source said. That's brave.
Right. Talk about a deep dive, right? But it's actually kind of cool because you see what people are latching onto, what they're worried about.
Yeah.
All their raw reactions. Like right off the bat, people are tripping up on the statistic itself.
How so?
Well, they see 2% drop, and some are thinking, boom,
Mm-hmm.
2% of Americans suddenly skinny. Like it's some overnight miracle.
Yeah, I can see how that happens. We need to be precise with these things. Just to clarify for everyone, we're talking about a 2 percentage point decrease, not 2% of the population.
Exactly. So before everyone gets too excited, no, it's not millions of people suddenly transforming. More like the needle moved a little, but hey, a drop is a drop. And the comments go nuts trying to figure out what moved that needle. And that's where Ozempic comes in. There's this one comment, someone talking about their friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Started taking tirzepatide, which is basically Ozempic's cousin, same drug family.
Okay.
And boom, dude lost a ton of weight, like a crazy amount. And of course, now everyone's wondering if Ozempic is the secret weapon behind this national trend.
Makes sense. People see those individual success stories, and it's only natural to wonder if it could work on a larger scale.
Totally. But is it really the magic bullet everyone's making it out to be?
Well, hold on. While Ozempic might be playing a role here, I think it's a bit premature to say it's responsible for the whole 2%.
Oh, for sure. It's not that simple, is it?
Not at all. Obesity is incredibly complex. Think of it like a giant jigsaw puzzle. Ozempic might be one piece, but it's definitely not the whole picture.
Good analogy. And even some of the commenters get at that, saying stuff like, yeah, Ozempic works great until you stop taking it. Then the weight creeps back.
Right. And then there's the whole issue of long-term effects, which we're only beginning to understand.
Oh, right. Some people were talking about some scary side effects.
Yeah, like gastroparesis. Basically, your stomach goes on strike and stops emptying properly.
Oof. Not good.
Not at all. And then there's pancreatitis, which is no walk in the park either. Inflammation of the pancreas, it can get nasty. And the thing is, with these medications, we still don't have the long-term studies to fully understand their effects.
Right. So it's like anything else in medicine, right?
Right.
There's a benefit, a potential risk, and a lot we still don't know. You've got to weigh it all.
It is. It's about looking at the whole picture, not just zeroing in on one thing. And that's where these comments get really interesting, because it's not all about Ozempic. You know, people are bringing up all these other factors that could be playing into this obesity rate drop.
Yeah, like a bunch of people were talking about how expensive groceries have gotten, saying it's like way easier to swing by the drive-thru than actually buy fresh, healthy stuff.
Right. And it's not just about the cost. It's like our whole environment is set up to push us toward those unhealthy choices. We get bombarded with ads for junk food, and then our cities are built for cars, so it's a whole thing to walk or bike anywhere. Even our idea of a normal portion size has gotten like totally warped.
It's true. Like our brains are wired to crave the stuff that's bad for us, and then we've built this world that just keeps shoving it in our faces. It's like that whole thing with smoking first. Everyone's like, smokers, you're killing yourself. Stop being dumb. But then you realize the tobacco industry is out here, like, manipulating everyone.
That's a really interesting parallel. Are we seeing that same kind of shift now with how we think about obesity? It seems like these Reddit comments are showing that people are starting to get that there are all these bigger forces at play. Yeah.
Totally. It's not just willpower, right?
Exactly. It's biology, it's the environment, it's society even.
Okay, so we've got biology, environment, society, and then there's this whole other layer of psychology, right? Like, how do our brains and emotions factor into all of this?
Absolutely. And the comments get into that too. People talking about stress eating, emotional eating, heck, even boredom eating.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Right. They're pointing out that there's a whole psychological component to why we eat, which often gets totally ignored in these discussions.
It's like we're finally admitting that food is about way more than just like fueling our bodies. It's tied up with our feelings, our social lives, even like our sense of self. It's messy.
It really is. And that's where you start to see this tension in the comments between personal responsibility and like systemic factors. You've got people saying, just eat less and move more. Like, it's the simplest thing in the world.
Oh, yeah, like, duh, why didn't I think of
All
that?
right. And then you have others pushing back saying, hey, it's not that easy. You try battling food addiction or dealing with hormonal imbalances.
Almost like they're talking past each other, you know?
What's interesting, though, is that both sides are coming from a place of very real frustration. It's not just some theoretical debate. These are real people dealing with really tough personal struggles.
And that's where empathy comes in, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Because it's so easy to judge from the outside. But until you've walked in someone else's shoes, you can't really understand their struggles. And I think that's what really struck me about these comments, the honesty, the vulnerability. People being willing to put their stories out there, you know?
It really is. It's easy to forget, when you're looking at statistics and stuff, there are real people behind those numbers.
Totally. We get so caught up in the data, we forget about the human side of it. And speaking of human side, one thread took this wild turn. Someone asked, what if there was like a magic pill? Erased all the bad stuff about being obese, health-wise, but you didn't actually lose weight.
Whoa. Okay, that is an interesting question.
Right. Makes you think.
Why?
Like, would we even care about weight loss then if it wasn't for all the health risks?
It makes you question, doesn't it? What are we really valuing here?
Exactly. Is it about health or is it more about like fitting into society's idea of what looks good?
Hmm.
Because let's be real, a lot of these comments, there's this like fear of being fat, like it's automatically a bad thing, even if someone's healthy.
Yeah, that just shows how deep this whole fat phobia thing goes.
Yeah.
We're practically programmed to see weight loss as some kind of moral victory.
Instead of just like a personal health journey, which is what it should be.
Exactly.
So, wow, this deep dive into the Reddit rabbit hole has been a lot, but in a good way. We've covered so much ground, the data, the sciencey stuff, the whole societal aspect.
And most importantly, those personal stories
Yeah,
really puts things in perspective.
for sure. And what have we learned? Basically, there's no easy answer. Obesity is complex.
Absolutely. It's not about finding one magic solution. It's about understanding all the different factors, all the nuances, and leading with empathy.
Yeah, empathy is key. So maybe after listening to this, next time you see someone and you're tempted to make assumptions about them based on their weight, maybe you'll think twice.
Right. Let's challenge those snap judgments. Try to be more understanding.
Totally. Because in the end, we're all just trying to figure this whole life thing out, right?
Yeah.
And the more we can be open-minded and supportive of each other, the better off we'll all be.
Couldn't agree more.